Hi, I'm Jill Higginbotham, and I'm going to be recording the lesson 7 from my 1 hour module, What I Wish I Knew on Day 1. Okay, guys, so I'm really excited to move on to this next part. And so, what we're calling this next part is What I Wish I Knew on Day 1. And this is your time. I want you to ask me questions, ask anything you want to. No question too big, no question too small. I also have a list of some common questions that people typically ask during this segment of our training. And I can certainly answer those, but I would really like for you to provide me some questions as well. So, some of the common questions that we get in this training are how do I ask for help? And so this is a really great question. So if you're working in the Ink system, you have the help button there, and that help button will provide you a direct link to the support team who can help us with task-based stuff inside Ink. Now, if we are looking for procedural help questions or policy help questions, those are a little different. So for policy, we would refer directly to the CLP policy that you can find in the Knowledge Bank online. And if you need help getting that link, I can provide that to you later. But you'll refer to any policy questions there. And if you need clarification, I would suggest you reach out to a mentor or supervisor. And then if you need procedural help, that one is a multi-layer assistance level. So of course we have a whole bunch of layers that can help us, right? Well, with a simple question for procedures, we wouldn't want to go directly to the training manager, right? So we have, our group chat. Our group chat is a really good way to get procedural questions answered from our peers because they've been doing this a lot. They've been doing it every day as well, and they might have a good suggestion or best practice for you. You could also reach out to your mentor or up to your team lead or your supervisor. And then, of course, we just follow that chain of stair step command until we get to a place where we have to escalate that. And usually we want to let the manager escalate that up to the training manager. But it is an opportunity if someone's out of the office that we can reach out directly to them and we have a really urgent need. And so, another common question that I get is how do I build rapport with my colleagues? Well, that's a really great question. And a lot of people are confused about that, right? Especially people who are new to the job or new to the company. We do a lot of office talk. There's coffee talk, of course. There are volunteer opportunities where you can work alongside a peer or another colleague where you can learn about them, learn about the tasks that you're doing, and have a lot of fun at the same time, all while representing the organization. And I think that's a really great way to do it. Another way is to go out to lunch with people. That's another good thing. Any activity where you can get side by side with someone and really get to know them, that's a good way to do it. Another question that I get is, what does initiative look like? And, with our organization, I think initiative can look very different in some of the ways. But some of the suggestions that I can make to you would be to, if there are opportunities to help people, to volunteer, raise your hand, be that person. Help reach out to people in group chats and give them the information they may be looking for. That's another way to take initiative. Another is to, when a manager is looking for people who can take projects on or do side projects, be the person that volunteers for that. Those are all really great examples of, getting yourself noticed and getting the attention you need to help grow your career. Another really good question I get is, how do I communicate delays? And so that's going to be different for every level that we work with here. But one of the ways to communicate delays is to acknowledge that deadline, give a good response or a good explanation for missing the deadline and your expected outcome, new deadline when you'll have the finished product. Explaining that all to people is definitely necessary to get that delay mentioned. What questions do you guys have? Okay, so that's a really great question. I'm glad you asked that. And so, what she just asked me was, how do I handle PTO requests? That's a super question. And I think that the best way to do it, and of course, your manager might have very specific ways they would like to hear from you. But first, you would ensure that you have the PTO available before we request it. Then anything that's urgent, a sick day, a personal day, anything that's come up urgently, we want to communicate that as quickly as possible in the morning, either via text or email or phone call to your supervisor. That way they can be sure that they have the right coverage for your day. Another way is if you are planning vacation, you want to have a good extended time that before you request that, so that you're able to have coverage in your absence, and to make sure that your manager can properly plan for that missing person and have coverage for your backup. That's a great question. Thank you. Do we have any other questions? So that is a really great question. So thank you for asking that. So if you didn't hear that, he asked me if the stereotypes were true that American offices didn't like people to have um, dishes cooked or reheated for lunch in their kitchens, like popcorn or fish or something like that. And so that's a very funny stereotype, actually. I actually really enjoy that. And it's a common thing that you'll hear, actually. And what I can suggest to you is that if you are in a building where there are clients who come in to meet with you, we want to be very aware of that, right? We want to be sure that we don't have a lot of different things influencing the office atmosphere. We would like for a client to come in and feel comfortable and enjoy their visit with us without an overwhelming smell. So, if that is something that you do experience where clients come in, that would be something that I would like for you to consider. Otherwise, I would probably follow the lead of the people we work with. That's probably a pretty good idea. You guys were so engaged, and I'm so happy with these questions. And I encourage you to keep asking these questions, keep reaching out to me, and being sure that we know exactly what we should be doing and what we shouldn't. And, there really isn't such a way to say what we shouldn't be doing, but certainly consider the people around us. Now let's move on to our next segment. And in that segment, it's our closing, it's our takeaway. And what I really want you to understand is you are not expected to know everything right away. I want you to remember to learn and continue to ask those questions that we talked about. I've given you the culture quick guide reference, and I've given you the office norms checklist. And both of these are really great opportunities for us to understand a little bit more about the bank and the expectations that we have, especially surrounding emails and meetings and phone conversations. And so, if you have any questions, don't feel like you can't ask it or it's inappropriate. I am an open book, and I really would like for you to understand that no matter what you are confused about, I'm happy to help you and try to get you through it. So it's time to close up for the afternoon, and I really appreciate you learning and staying encouraged about your job. And I just want to remind you that continuing to stay engaged with your peers and your supervisor will only benefit you and me and everyone in the end. So thank you.